everybody, it's me, Alex. Sorry I haven't done a Futhark Friday in a minute. Had some stuff come up. Alara finally was like, hey, you need to get doing your stuff. So here I am, doing. This video is a summary of the first 8 runes in the Futhark rune system, which we've already talked about, but I just kind of wanted to go over them a little bit as a group together. So the first grouping, and each grouping of 8 in the runes, is called an Aett. I'm going to insert the word there. I hope I'm saying it right. I might not be. Don't quote me. Sorry. Each Aett is made up of 8 runes, and we have so far covered the first Aett. Now, each Aett is associated with a particular deity, god, goddess of the Norse pantheon. I didn't know that when I first started working with runes, if I'm going to be honest with y'all. And I, therefore, don't really associate the runes themselves with any other deity except for Odin. Because Odin's story is the rune story. You can't really separate the two. Even if you don't personally follow Odin, he is still involved. And the only other higher grouping of Norse mythology that I would associate with them constantly are the Norns. And we talked about Odin and the Norns and their relationship to the runes in the very first Futhark Friday video, where I super summarized how all this works. Now, personally, I associate... So, the goddess associated with this first one, I'm going to talk about that really briefly, is Freya. And again, you guys can look that up in books and in texts and websites, but I don't really subscribe to that personally, so I can't speak to it ideally. But what I do associate the first Aett with is humanity's basic needs and your own personal connection to those that came before you and your beliefs in either a higher power or a deity. Now, I'm going to kind of go briefly over the first 8 we've talked about, kind of as a refresher, so you guys don't have to rewatch all the other videos. You can if you want, especially if you want more deets. But yeah, so number 1, Fehu. We're going to insert picture and name with all the runes again. Symbol of the cattle, domesticated, stands for you having wealth, prosperity, freedom, choices you can make for your own decisions in life. Now, if Fehu's in a more negative light, it also represents the lack of all of these things. So, no wealth, no freedoms, no personal choices in life, or being very overly dependent on someone or something. Next is Uruz, symbol again, the wild bovine, so kind of going along with that. It also represents strength, health, your determination and assertion, putting in your work to achieve your own goals. Now, this can also mean aggression in a negative way, especially if you're being aggressive in an unnecessary situation where it didn't call for that kind of aggression or any aggression at all. And it can also lead to you having unhealthy obsessions or straight up being ignorant, unfortunately. Next, we have Thorizas, which represents the giants and also basically kind of represents strength through resistance. The symbol is literally that of Thor and of Mjolnir, his hammer. Represents lightning and fighting for a greater good and not just for the sake of it. Typically, in that case, you're fighting for peace of some kind. Also speaks of being destroyed by nature, and can also be talking to you about aggressive male energy. Next, we have Anzus, stands for ancestor, represents the gods and especially, again, Odin, but this one is really good to work with if you have your own personal deity and you just kind of wanted to include deity with your workings of the runes. I myself don't mix the two. if I'm going to be honest. I kind of do runes with myself. I don't call on my deity to help me with that. So, not something I do, but that would be the rune to incorporate your own personal deity with. It is also associated with the element of air, also attributed to Odin, and how it's necessary to sustain life. It also stands for communication and poetry as far as elements go. Also, all those things attributed to, again, Odin. Now, on a more negative note, it stands for manipulation, boredom, and receiving or giving bad advice. So, using your ability to speak to others or others to speak to you negatively. Ride Ho, next rune, is the rune of travel, taking initiative and a new journey. Most importantly, aligning yourself to your true path. Negative stuff on that one is also anxiety, desperation, losing control, and total complete stasis in life. Can also be an imbalance of control in possible response to lack of it. I remember what I said in the video when I was talking about Ride Ho is if you're leading a horse, you have to have a good grip to lead the horse, but if your grip is too tight and the horse pulls, you're gonna make your hands bloody and raw. So you have to find a good balance between the two, so you don't lose control, but you don't overwhelm yourself with trying to have too much of it. Next rune is Kanaz, the torch, light of knowledge. The path is lit before you, makes the hidden visible, sweeps away ignorance. Helps you gain perspective and represents the potential you have and others have. Now, this can make hidden things you don't want visible. So, like with all runes, there is a slight warning when you're using them. Now, negative stuff is if, arrogance and being just straight up ignorant, and ignorant not through lack of something, but you're being especially purposefully ignorant. Gebu is the next one. Literally means gift. As above, so below, and so mote it be are two very strong kind of things to deal with that one. It means balance, appreciation, inheritance, especially from ancestors, and what goes around comes around kind of comes along with that a lot. And now last rune in this Aett is Wunyo, which is literally the rune of joy, hope, and your true calling in life. It is also the rune of wishing, harmony, and the bonds between you and your fellow people, your tribe basically, family, friends, etc. Now, the things to be careful with Wunyo are to be careful what you wish for. Kind of like with Kanaz, you might get more than what you bargained for. This can also lead to sorrow, alienation, negative stuff like that. Now, kind of to wrap all this up, I recently, when I was trying to memorize the runes in order, was trying to find little rhymes or things to remember it, kind of like our ABCs or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star kind of stuff. And one of the things I found to remember the first at least was to think of it this way. The Futhark is a gift of joy. Futhark encompassing Futhark, and then gift being Gebu, and then joy being Wunyo. So this was just kind of a quick oversight, just to let y'all kind of get a couple little bits of information there. Nothing too crazy. Just want to let y'all know that these are in groups of 3. Math is very important. Like numbers, not math, but numbers are important in a lot of things in all this stuff. Hope you guys have a good time, and see you on the next one. Bye.